Hi, I'm Christine Cushing, and welcome to another helping of my favorite foods. Today, I want to take you somewhere sweet with the beautiful Greek Koulourakia, also known as the Greek Easter cookie. They are tender, they are delicate, and they are so aromatic, and I love making them for the holidays. You're going to love them. Look at how tender they are inside. Let's get going. First thing I want to do is start with my butter and sugar. And I want to cream the butter first before I start adding the sugar. So I'm using my paddle attachment here, and I want to get it nice and light and fluffy until it looks like this. Then I add my sugar all at once, and I'm going to keep that paddle going on a medium-high heat till it's nice and fluffy and that sugar and butter are really nicely incorporated for a beautiful texture. Then I add some vanilla. I love using this beautiful vanilla extract. Oh, look at it. And it's not going to be a recipe for me unless I have a lemon. I mean, I physically cannot do it. I've tried. Really, I have. So the grated zest of one large lemon. And I like using a rasp. And I'm also throwing in a clementine. That combination of citrus, orange, lemon is really great. You can do one or two or both. But you've got to do at least one. Can you smell that? Look at that lemon zest. Getting so excited already. Okay, lemon zest is going into my creamed butter mixture with the vanilla. And I'm going to give that a little whip just to blend it. Now I'm adding 3 eggs. I like using them at room temperature, one at a time, beating between additions. And it's really important to scrape down with a rubber spatula. I mean, this pretty much looks like a mess now, so I want to make sure it's blended thoroughly before adding my other eggs. Now I want to show you a really cool ingredient. This is called masticha, which just means gum in Greek. And it's a resin from a beautiful tree. And when you grind it down, it looks nice and very feathery, almost like icing sugar. Now I'm going to continue the spices with a little anise. You could use star anise, but that would take it a bit more Eastern. This is a nice, sweet, slightly licoricey flavor. Using my mortar and pestle, you gotta do that. I mean, don't knock it till you try it. So much flavor. It's aromatic, and it's really gonna add that to those cookies. Now I'm adding both spices, to the mixture. And what I like to do is take a piece of parchment and sift my dry ingredients right onto the parchment. I'm going to show you why in a minute. I'm going with my old school Tammy fine mesh sieve, starting with a little bit of all-purpose flour. I always use unbleached. And then also some soft flour or cake and pastry. Lower protein, more tender. And quite a bit of baking powder. I mean, it's about a tablespoon. They're going to really puff up nicely. Now I want to sift away until it's all blended, nice and airy, no lumps. I love sifting flour. It's like an obsession. And the salt goes in outside of the sieve, obviously. And then I take that paper and it can just go right into my other ingredients and the flour's not going to fly all over the place, as opposed to using a bowl. Now I want to turn back on my mixer and just blend just to bring it together. I'm not really trying to create any gluten here or over mix it. You can see it's just starting to come together. Now I'm turning it onto my board. It's a bit messy still, so I do the last bit of kneading by hand. You can see it looks a bit sticky here, so just dusting with a bit of bench flour. Not too much, because I don't want to make them dry. But how much is too much? That's always a question, right? So you can see that it's just a bit tacky here, and I just let it sit for a couple of minutes and then it'll come together. I cut it in 2, and I get my baking sheet ready with a parchment, and each of those 2 halves I'm going to cut into quarters. Who's ready for some math? So we're going to get a total of 24 cookies that are fairly large. So each quarter into thirds, and you want to make sure they're sort of evenly cut, obviously. Who wants to twist? So now very gently, again, no flour on my surface because I don't want them to be too dry. And they're going to be a bit sticky. And I just want to get them into like an even rope. Flip them once, flip them twice, And that's a little twist. Let's see it again. It was so much fun the first time. Get a little rope going, pretty much even, but you can see that the dough is fairly soft. And I'm going to flip it once, or twist it once, twist it twice, and there it is. And there they are onto my parchment paper lined baking sheet, getting ready to go to the oven. 350 is my temperature with a convection setting. Want to get my egg wash going, so just one egg, nicely beaten here. The egg wash is key because that's going to give them a beautiful sheen. Some people like just doing yolks, but I love the white. It gives it a super, super silky shine. Say that 3 times. So I want to make sure I douse them nicely and evenly in this egg wash. Not a big fan of this pastry brush. Got to get a new one, actually. I don't like it so much. It's a bit messy. You can see that it's not giving me a good texture. After 17 to 20 minutes, look how amazing they look. I like to turn it once in the oven so they're nice and evenly browned. The aroma is off the chart. That masticha, which is a very unique flavor, you can't even describe it, and that anise together, let's not forget the citrus, right? So incredible. Now I want to let those cool before I try to taste one. Okay, no tasting before. Let me show you what the bottoms look like. Perfectly evenly golden is what I'm looking for. Hey, who took one already? I'm so impatient. What can I tell you? But let me show you what they look like inside. Remember I said they're just tender. It's a cookie, but they're cakey. It's a cakey. Oh, I love these. Cannot have Easter without them. Thank you for joining me on another helping of my favorite foods. See you next time.